Hello and welcome to my new video reviewing this Mossery sketchbook. For the month of October, Mossery run an art event called Mosstober, which is really all about encouraging each other just to create, no matter our skill level and no matter our medium. And this year they've asked me to be one of their artists to choose a prompt on the list. Mine is Phantom, and they've sent me this sketchbook as well. They've also provided me with a discount code for you all to use, and I thought it would be a great opportunity to review the book. I have a hard rule when working with brands that I can be as honest as I like, and this collaboration is no different. There are some pros, there are some cons, but when is anything in life ever perfect? Having said that, if you like what I say, there's a 15% discount code in the description below. But before I move on, I want to say thank you to my patrons. I opened Patreon a week ago, and these lovely people are supporting me and helping me create more of the content that you love. There are already tons of rewards ready for you to get your teeth stuck into. I only have one tier on Patreon, and you get all of this every month, including full-length real-time art tutorials about my work, credit in my YouTube videos and Instagram posts, and tons of behind-the-scenes content such as works in progress, top tip videos, vlogs, and sketchbook pages. If you'd like to support me and join the gang, head to patreon.com/finelinerNerd. So there are a few things I really like about this sketchbook, but my first impressions of the paint going down on the paper were a bit scary, if I'm honest. I'm not used to painting on wood pulp based paper. I prefer 100% cotton because of the absorbency. So the first few minutes I had a bit of an moment, but the more I painted, the more used to it I got, and I actually managed to get a really even blend on his skin in the end. I just find with wood pulp based papers that the paint tends to sit on top and is too easily pushed around, and also streaking is a more common occurrence too. As part of my standard set of techniques, I often do a little bit of scrubbing with fresh water to soften any hard edges, and the paint and paper actually reacted really well to that method. The other thing to note is that the paper stood up to multiple layers, and it didn't buckle either. When painting a small area like this, I would expect the paper to contract once dry, but it was absolutely fine. A really decent trade-off for the initial struggles. The nice thing too is that the colours remain bright because of the whiteness of the paper. Despite the paper being cold press, the texture is smoother than most papers of the same kind, and it was great for painting fine details. For the details, I used a black polychromos pencil and a tiny brush by ProArt for the line work. Then I just reinforced some of the darkest details with the brush again. I think this might be the darkest mixture of Payne's Grey I've ever used. I prefer using it to blacks just because the blues in the paint make it that much softer, and black is way too stark for my style. Going around the ribcage, I don't think I breathed once. I used a large pointed round brush so that I could lay down lots of paint without having to charge up again, and the point helped me get into some of the finer corners. The only other thing I'd say against this book is that it's very small, perhaps not for most people, but I just found myself having to consider composition a lot more, rather than when I paint on a larger piece of paper, which I normally do. Despite this book laying flat, so it's excellent for tracing sketches onto the page using a lightbox, I actually drew straight onto the paper this time, something I've been challenging myself with lately. I had to erase the ribcage a lot to get the angle right, but the paper and surface coating didn't get damaged at all, so I was really impressed and surprised, and even my F pencil came off easily. And now comes time for the gold leaf. So, major disclaimer, I have done this once before. No, I'm not wearing gloves, and yes, I did struggle with the heat of my hand curling the leaf. It made it quite difficult to put it down, so I ended up just opening the pages and slapping it onto the paper. But I got into my stride and more confident with it as time went on. I think painting the gilding paste around his face and hair was the most careful I've ever been. One misstep and I'd have been in a right spot of bother. And one of my patrons, Gabe, suggested I get bigger sheets of gold leaf next time to avoid the seams between the smaller sheets, and I'm totally taking that advice. In fact, I've actually already placed an order. But regardless, thank you so much, Gabe, for your advice on that. But all in all, I don't think this noob to gold leafing did such a bad job. Honestly, is there anything more satisfying than brushing away the gold though? Seriously, it's like highest satisfaction level, like art porn. I got it absolutely everywhere. It stuck to the back of my phone, it's in my hair, and I had to hold my breath while scooping up the little flakes so that they didn't go everywhere, so that I could save them for like tiny little patches later. And on that note, a couple of patch-ups later, and I was done. Oh, hold on. A little more art porn for you all. The removal of masking tape. You are welcome. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it and you want to see more from me, consider subscribing to my channel. And I love to chat, so fire away in the comments below. Until next time, take care.